Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Eli, the real estate guy, and I got a juicy one for you today. All right, so these are the steps for wholesaling a pre-foreclosure home that I've used, and of course, contact other investors and attorneys to see how things go about in your state. But this is what I've pretty much done to be able to wholesale a pre-foreclosure property. So. A pre-foreclosure property, well, first off, wholesaling, if you looked at another one of my videos, you'll be able to get more information on what wholesaling is in itself. Watch that first and then come back to this video so you can know what I'm talking about. So, a pre-foreclosed property, all right, so a pre-foreclosure can happen due to not paying taxes, HOA, not paying your mortgage, and basically you haven't been paying and now they're about to auction off your house. That's pretty much what foreclosures are. All right, so with that, the person that is about to lose their home, they're usually notified, a couple months in advance or whatever the situation is, and that information is then made public, and you can get that from different county websites or going to the county office itself. Now, what I would do is I would go to the county website or go to the county office itself, and I would get that list of pre-foreclosed properties. Now, these folks, a lot of times, they're in trouble. They're about to lose their property and not get anything in return for it. So I would contact them and let them know, hey, instead of losing your house for nothing, I can give you a cash offer that would not only pay off your mortgage, but it would actually put some money in your pocket so that you can start fresh and not have a full foreclosure on your report, and you have some money to do the next steps in life that you want. So once I contact this individual, we would determine if there is some equity in their property and give them some options that would work. So let's say that there is equity in the property and there is enough room to fix it, put in an assignment fee. And if you want to know what an assignment fee is, go back to the wholesaling video. And also, so repairs cover whatever liens and mortgages there, and an assignment fee. All right, you want to make sure there's enough room for that. And once you determine that, you go out, assess the property, look at the damages, make sure the numbers make sense before you move forward. All right, now fast forward, the seller signs the purchase agreement. All right, now with this purchase agreement, you'd be able to assign the rights to purchase this property to an investor. All right, now as this is being done, you got the purchase agreement signed, the next step I would do is I would get a third-party authorization form and have the seller fill out that form, and I would fax that to the pre-foreclosure attorney, and also I'd have a separate third-party authorization form, and I'll send that to whoever is causing this foreclosure to happen. So HOA, mortgage company, whatever it is, all right? So you want to make sure everybody's aware, like, hey, I do have permission to speak to you guys about this process, okay? Now, the reason why you want to get this third-party authorization is because you want to know exactly how much is owed. All right, so the seller may be under the impression that, hey, of my $200,000 house, I only owe $80,000. All right. Now, once it goes into pre-foreclosure, and a lot of these attorney offices, they slap on their fees. All of a sudden, like, oh, you owe 80 as far as a mortgage, but now with the fees, it's 100 and whatever. So you thought you were going to make this, turns out now all of a sudden it's not a deal anymore, right? So it's very important that you're able to communicate with these folks. Another quick way to do this is by actually putting them on three-way, and they'll be able to verify the identity of the seller, and they will explain that, hey, he is purchasing the property, she is purchasing the property, and I do give authorization over the next 30 days, 45 days to be able to get the information from you all, and you all will be able to communicate directly to resolve this issue. You want to know what the full amount is, okay? very, very important. If you don't know what the full amount is, it's a problem. All right, now the title company, of course, they're going to be working towards doing this as well, but I like to speed things up so that several people are getting it done at the same time. All right, and on that third-party authorization form, I'll also include the title company so that they're aware that they won't only be getting calls from me, they'll also be getting calls from this specific title company. All right. Now, as you're moseying on down the transaction, all right, you want to also keep everyone updated on what's going on. All right. So you want to speak to the seller, let them know, like, hey, I'm working on it. I spoke to so and so and so and so a couple days ago. Things look like it's still, moving forward. So, the closing date of this day still looks like it's going through. All right, and you also want to speak to the end buyer, like, hey, this is what's going on. It looks like that closing date is still working. You want to speak to that mortgage company, hey, how are we looking? Okay, cool. You want to speak to the title company, hey, how are we looking? Okay, cool. You keep doing that until you inch forward, and as long as there's no hiccups, you keep going, all right? And the title company, they'll send a commitment saying, hey, this is what we got. All right, cool. Now that I have all the information needed for the pre-foreclosure, now that I know the totals of the taxes, now that I know all the numbers associated with it, look it over. How does it look? Looks good? Cool. Then they'll create the HUD form. All right, now the HUD pretty much shows the numbers for the seller and the buyer. All right, so it's going to show all the taxes, who owes what. This person's owed this much. Oh, they had this. They had a bank lien on here. They had a new furnace put in, and there was a lien on that. So all that is drawn out in that commitment, and it'll be brought onto that HUD form. Once the seller sees that, and you and the end buyer sees the form, then once everything is in agreement, then we're set to go to closing. All right, now you want to make sure you're contacting folks as closing is approaching, because the last thing you want to do, and I have experienced this I've experienced this on the morning of closing, right? I haven't spoke to them in like maybe 3 or 4 days, and the morning of closing, like, oh yeah, we're not closing anymore. We decided not to sell. That's a whole nother thing. But you want to make sure that you're staying in communication with everybody and there's no hiccups. And once closing happens, everybody is set up to either sign with the notary or go to the closing table at the office. Once that is all set up, you'll get notified by the title company that everything is all set, and how would you like to receive your payment, right? So from there, you can choose wire, check, whatever you want to do, and that is the full pre-foreclosure process, all right? Now, it's a bit longer of a video than I usually do, but it's very important that you look this over and, of course, do your own research as well. And it's a tedious process, and it takes a while. It usually takes about a couple weeks for this whole process to happen, but it can be very profitable and worth your time if you know these steps. And please, please, please do not set it and forget it. Don't think that you're just gonna send that paperwork over to the attorneys for the pre-foreclosure office, and you set everything up for the title company, and everything's just gonna happen. It doesn't. It doesn't just happen. Now, of course, over time, you can work with a title company that's more proactive, and they'll make sure that they know how you work and you get things going. But please, please, please do not think that everybody is moving. You gotta move things along. You gotta keep pushing until the end, because, of course, at the end of the day, you have this seller to worry about, right? They're about to lose their home. If you drag your feet, all of a sudden, it's too late. They lose their home, and now you look like a liar, all right? So you want to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to push everything along, and if there's anything that's ahead of you, if there's any roadblocks, you're there to stop it and adjust it, clear the path so that you can bulldoze through and do what you got to do, all right? So go ahead and do some more research, look at some other videos that I have, and of course, remember, only results matter.